This is Professor Raymond Noble, Department of Ancient History, log entry number 2. I believe I am moving to distant past.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, sometimes that is better.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
Michael!
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I myself am strange and unusual.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured?
The juice is loose.
Unpleasant dream.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Terror Talks. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Ansley.
And on this episode, we have a special episode for you. We are taking Ansley back to her teenage roots on this one as we visit Montrose, Georgia for Haunted Montrose. This is literally the only thing in that small town. There's literally nothing else there. This is an attraction that boasts that it is one of the scariest in Georgia, one of the best in Georgia. At least that's what their website says. We got to experience it last year for the first time. Well, for Ansley, this is like probably the second, third, fourth, fifth time. Like the eighth time. This was my first time, and so this year was my second time. So this year was her ninth time. And to say that it was an experience is definitely a statement to say. Because last year's experience was way different from this year's. Last year, we did not get any scares. It was very bleh. It was just a overall kind of, I guess you could say an overall very meh experience. We did not have a great time. We did give a couple notes to the people in charge, but we never got to officially do the review, which honestly is probably a good thing, all things considered, because, like I said, the experiences from last year to this year are vastly different. The one similarity between the two adventures we had to Haunted Montrose was this year and last year both we went on Sunday nights. Now, a lot of people think Sunday nights are basically the dead night for haunting and things. Like, you're not going to get a great crowd, you're not going to have many actors, you're not going to have an experience that's even worth mentioning. I would venture to say that that's a little bit incorrect because I am of the sound mind that doesn't matter what day of the week you go, I think you should get the same experience no matter what. No matter what day, your actors still need to bring 120% every time. And I do believe this year that Haunted Montrose did in fact do that. There was not a dead space in the haunt. Well, there was a couple dead spaces, but there was not an actor who wasn't giving it anything less than 100%. They all were absolutely fantastic. They were giving it their all. We got to see some really cool characters as we went through. So it was a lot of fun for us. Now, is it everything that you remember from your teenage years, Ansley?
Definitely not.
It seems it has definitely changed over the course of time.
Not for the better.
Yeah. But it's still not the worst haunt we've ever been to. It has had some growing pains, I will say. In terms of things like set work was phenomenal. Like, they have some really incredible sets throughout this haunt. You can tell it is definitely up to the professional level, the professional standards. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they say this is the same people that built things for like Rob Zombie and things like that, is what I read on their website. So they boast pretty highly about their professionalism. The actors were top notch. Like I said, nobody really gave us anything less than a good experience. All of the scares were there. I was getting jump scared left and right. Ansley doesn't get scared, so she didn't get any scares on this particular trip, unfortunately. But it was still fun for us. I think we saw some really notable things out there. There were these two characters that were our absolute favorite. They were sort of midway characters, but also were in the haunt too. And they were these twin characters, like twin, what would you call them?
I think I would call them Wendigos.
Twindigos. I thought it was funny. She said Wendigo, I said Twindigos, because they were twins. Well, or at least that was the thing that they were trying to do. And they both had this secret way of coordinating so that every time they talked, they could talk completely in sync with each other. And that was actually really cool, like that these actors would put that level of detail into their characters. I don't know if this is a special character that they own, or if Haunted Montrose, like, you know, holds all the rights exclusively to the characters and such. But definitely was a cool thing to see on that trip. There's a lot of different scenes that you're going to go through when you head out to Haunted Montrose. The first one that you go through is like what, some sort of haunted hospital of sorts, would you say?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Like a mad scientist blur.
Yeah, and the scenery is very well done in there. Everything is very top-notch, Hollywood-level sets in a lot of places. I will say, they rely heavily on animatronics in this place. There is a lot of them all throughout, and I love a good animatronic, but what I don't love is when the things that make the animatronic go tick-tick, when I can see them. And for me, that is a big thing we saw all throughout Haunted Montrose. I don't know if you noticed that, but I definitely caught that.
Yeah, I noticed it a little bit here and there, but it wasn't something super substantial.
Well, to me it was. I thought it was pretty, because it just looked weird, because it's like what would you call that thing that it's on? It's like a X sort of pulley system sort of thing. I don't know what it would be called. The little thing that's in the back that like moves out and brings it back in. And it's like an accordion track. It's kind of like what it is, because it like expands as the animatronic comes out at you, and then it folds back up into itself when it comes back. And I don't like that we could just see it plain as day every time it came out. Obviously, I know haunted houses, you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but it's still really annoying when you go through and you can see the things that are making everything happen. And so for me, it's just a big letdown. So I would love to find a way to make that not noticeable, not seen, or if nothing else, just get rid of them. Because, I mean, you know, what's the point of hiring actors if you're going to put a bunch of animatronics in your stuff? I mean, they're fine every once in a while, but you don't always need them, especially when they're the typical ones you see in a lot of places. I will say there is one that got me again, and you knew it was coming. That one that came out of the closet and scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I backed off and let him get scared.
Yeah, she did do that. But yeah, so that'd be one big gripe I have going through there. Again, I know it's a Sunday night, so there was a lot of dead space in certain places where they just relied on those animatronics instead of the actors. But where there were a lot of actors, they were giving it like I said, they were giving it 110%. Especially there's what do they call it? The rave room, where it's all white and strobe lights and fog, and the cages.
Oh, they call it the fog room.
Yeah. In there, they had literal actors crawling on the walls next to us, which I was just like, how in the hell do you do that without even, like you can't see anything in there. Like, you have to hold the wall to figure out where you're going the whole time and follow that. And you've just got actors in here, you know, climbing up on the walls, following you around. They're everywhere. It's like they just have muscle memory about this place and how it all works. And it baffles you, because you're like, dang, I could never, Not just because I'm not very fit. I can't be crawling up on them walls, but...
And I got bad knees.
Bad knees, recurring theme here at the Terror Talks. Fuck Ansley's knees. But that is definitely a big highlight of the thing. And then, if that weren't enough, you get dumped out into a cornfield, and you basically go through a corn maze. Granted, it's a corn maze that is, the path is completely laid out for you, and you don't have to really work to find your way through it. It's not like a challenging corn maze sort of deal. But, you know, it's a corn maze, nonetheless. And what do we have? We had the bunny guy following us around out there through the corn maze. Yeah, he kind of stalked behind us the whole time. And then one of Ansley's favorite things is no longer out there in the corn maze.
Yeah, they used to have, it was either a T-Rex or a raptor, and I think it was a headless horseman. But they didn't have them out there. And they were so scary because you could barely see them over the corn. And they'd have them like right there in your face as you're turning a corner. And they didn't have them this year, and it kind of bummed me out a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and we were looking for them too, and they were not in their usual spot that we remembered them being last year. But they still had my favorite room, the big creepy pumpkin Samhain room or Samhain, as it depends on how it's supposed to be pronounced. Everybody knows the Celtic holiday of Samhain is a big thing. If you keep up with Halloween stuff, it's a big thing. People know, those who know what I'm talking about. That's what Halloween was originally called back in the day. And they had a room sort of dedicated to that. It had jack-o'-lanterns and it had Celtic runes all over the wall. But unfortunately, that was the one room where we had an actor break one of our most crucial rules of haunt season. He said, "Get out."
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Elementary scares, y'all. We don't like them. We're not fans of them. But, you know, they happen. They happen more often than you think. I will say one of the great things after that is last year, after you got out of the corn maze, you got dropped into this, I guess it's kind of like a mansion or a house sort of scene. And in that house scene, they were breaking us up into groups, and it was just getting all clogged up. It was really bad last year. Well, this year, they did not do that, and I thought that actually made a world of difference, because it meant you could just sort of keep wandering through the haunt at your own steady pace. You didn't have to, do anything, shall we say, special, or wait for, further instruction to be able to go in. So I like that I don't remember if we told anybody that we didn't like that last year and they actually listened to us, or if it was just a decision they made, or maybe they just didn't do it that night because it was towards the end of the night, things were sort of slowing down. I don't know what the circumstances are, but I do know we did not have to wait there. We didn't have to wait in line either. And I will say the staff was pretty good about making sure that the rowdy drunk crowd that was coming in behind us did not get anywhere near us. Because we made sure that, we did not want to interact with them, because they clearly had a few this evening. Fun times. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot you can really say about this. I mean, like I said, it's the one haunt out in the middle of nowhere kind of deal. That little town would literally, there's nothing else there. Like, if you're going to Montrose, Georgia, this is why you're going to Montrose, Georgia, is to go to this haunt. Lots of parking situation out there. Like, there's a lot of great things, great parking lot, well, big parking grass area that you can park in. Midway, when we got there, had a couple actors running around. We didn't really get to interact with any of them because we got there right before closing. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I think we counted maybe 3 Midway actors, but I remember that last year too. was only about 3 Midway actors.
Yeah. There was the 2 Wendigo girls, and then some kind of. I'm not sure what he was. But he was kind of creepy.
The bald guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was like a pig, if he was like a weird human, if he was a goblin. Like, it was very fuzzy.
Yeah. I know there was a pig guy too, because I remember he came up to me, but there was also that bald guy that you said too. Or maybe they were the same person.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. In any case, there's only like 3, 4 Midway actors to, sort of interact with. I didn't really see, from what I could tell, a whole lot to do in the Midway. Like, it didn't look like they had a lot of offerings, and even if it was the end of the night, you would have still seen, like, oh, here's what you can do out here. And all I really saw was a place you could go take, a picture and be like, I survived Haunted Montrose. Had the place that you could, pick up your tickets or buy your tickets. And that was really all that I caught on that particular night. I don't know, is this the norm out there, or is there usually more out there?
From what I remember as a teenager, there was more out there.
So maybe they had just packed up already when we got there, I guess. I mean,
it didn't look like they had anything out there.
Yeah.
They had their regular Midway, which is, it's cute, like, it's nice. It's a good little area. But I remember there being more Midway actors and, like, just, for some reason I remember games out there that aren't there anymore. There was just, it was dull this time, and I was just kind of upset about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think, like, not even concession stand type options or anything. I think all I saw was Zaxby's was their catering. And by the time we got there, they were sort of packing up already, and I was bummed about that because Jeremy's a Zaxby's-aholic. So the fact that I couldn't get my Zaxby's was really sad. So they're on a time-ticketed entry thing, so you get your ticket and you select the time that you're going to be there, the slot, and then they get you in. They have like a 30-minute wait one and an hour sort of thing, 2 different lines. Sort of an interesting system of how to get you in and whatnot. Time ticketed entry is always
Honestly,
something.
It was. I feel like it was about the same as when they would just kind of send you out one time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything special, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a typical sort of haunted house and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot we can really say about it. You have anything?
No, not really. The elementary scares kind of killed it for me, more or less. Otherwise, I mean, it was a haunted house.
Yeah, I mean, it had your typical sort of rooms and whatnot. They had the 3D gimmick, which
Ansley doesn't usually like.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of it either. I will say they made it work at the very least. Like, the artwork and stuff they had and the way they did it did work with the 3D element. It's just not usually my favorite thing. But I did like they had actual glasses now.
Yes, that was one of my big things last year. Because we're gonna admit something to you guys. Last year we went, and y'all know a bunch of the haunts that we went to didn't get their reviews because we got so backed up and there was a lot of stuff going on where we were concerned. But we went last year, and the owner was kind of not our favorite person. He was kind of rude and standoffish, and oh, well, y'all are coming to review. Why couldn't y'all come on a better night? And da da da. And we were just like, oh, well, okay. But I will say it was better this time than last time. A lot less elementary scares. Last time I believe I saw a couple water bottles, and I'm kind of a bitch about that. But I will say it was a lot better. Could it be better than that? Yes, definitely could be. Do I have high hopes for it? I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, it to me, it honestly seems like the type of haunt where, I hate to say it this way, but it reminds me of another haunt where basically the actors are the ones running the place, almost. It very much felt like that. I will say, last year, I'll agree with Ansley, we felt very put off by the person we talked to. He just seemed like he really didn't care what we were saying and had an excuse for everything we told him. And that big excuse it kind of came back again this year of like, oh, well, why are y'all reviewing us on, I wish y'all would not come on such a slow night. And as I've already said, and I'll jump on the high horse and say it again, it doesn't matter if it's a slow night. It doesn't matter how many actors you have. You give 110% no matter what. And don't make excuses for why your haunt is not where it can be. And I mean, I will say they have the professional makings of a great haunt. My fear for this haunt is that they paint themselves in such a professional manner that basically they think they don't need to take the criticism. They don't need to take the shall we say, advice or anything that we have to say. They think basically they know everything, and who are we to come in and give them advice on how they could make it better. And that could be a very false, narrative. It may not be how it is at all. And, to the people there, you can shoot us a message and let us know if we're falsely seeing this, but that is just the impression we got. I mean, it was like halfway friendly with some people, but then it really did feel like, when talking to those in charge, y'all didn't really seem to care a whole lot about what we had to say. It was just like, oh, okay, I'm glad you had fun, but,
who cares what you think?
Right. And, if you don't care what we say, that's fine. Let us know. And we will never come back if that is how you truly feel. But that is the vibe we got. It feels like, to us, there's somebody who's putting money into it, but doesn't really care a whole lot. They just have their name on the front page of it, which is a horrible thing to say. And like I said, that might not be the case. I don't know. That's just the vibe we get from it. So I'm not really sure what more we can really say about that. I hope we're wrong, and like I said, if we're wrong, great, but if we're not wrong, not so great. But yeah, so that is Haunted Montrose for you. Some positives, some negatives. It's not the worst haunt we've ever been to, that's for sure. And if we were basing, the haunt on the attitudes and impressions we got, it'd probably be, a 1 out of 5 all day long. But, we're basing it on the haunt and what we saw. And in terms of set, acting, all of the things in between there, there's some good in there. So let's rate this bad boy.
I am going to give it a 3 out of 5.
All right.
Based solely on the sets and the actors that actually gave their heart to this place. Not much else I can say, honestly. I am very bummed that it is not what I remember. But, oh well.
All right, and I am going to give it a 3 out of 5 as well. Some great sets. The actors are clearly trying their hardest and working their hearts off in there. They're doing the best that they absolutely can. Like I said, there's just some things that miss the mark. Hopefully they can, improve on it in years to come. I'd like to see more midway options and things out there. I'd like to see some changes, because that's another thing I'll say is between this year and last year, not a single thing changed. It was an exact copy, paste, wash, rinse, repeat. Not even singular scenes changed. So I would love to see some changes happen and, possibly improve. But, maybe after this review, we may never be allowed out there again. Which
is always the risk, but it's a risk we're willing to take to help these haunts get better.
Yes. So, 3 out of 5 from Ansley, 3 out of 5 from me. That means Haunted Montrose is a grand total of, drumroll please, 3 screams. Haunted Montrose is a 3-scream rated haunted attraction on the Terror Talks rating scale. Be sure to go out there and check them out for yourself and let us know if you feel we are justified in our review, or maybe you disagree with us. And if you disagree with us, feel free to let us know. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'd love to hear why you disagree with us. Or if there's a haunted house that you've been to that you think we ought to go review, let us know about it, and we will go check it out. Go check out Haunted Montrose this haunt season. They are located in Montrose, Georgia, also known as the middle of frickin' nowhere. They're located at 1728 2nd Street, Montrose, Georgia, 31065. You can go online and buy your tickets today. Tickets are going to cost you $28 to go through the haunt this year, and they are open every Friday and Saturday during October, every Sunday during October, and of course they're open on Halloween night. So just go to their website, check them out. They're at hauntedmontrose.com. You can get all of the information there. But that is going to do it for us on this episode of the Terror Talks. So until next time, be safe out there.
Be excellent to each other.
Don't text and drive. And we'll see you in the fog.
Hey, you guys survived to the end of the show. Congratulations, you're all final girl material. But don't worry, you'll have plenty more opportunities to fall victim to our horrifying creations throughout the season. Afraid to miss out on more content?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. You can also subscribe to our Libsyn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Groovy.
Want to keep up with us regularly? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our social media fun.
Don't fall asleep.
Go check out our website for our written reviews at theterrortalks.wixsite.com.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Want to help us keep the lights from flickering? You can give us a one-time donation of $3 to support the show by visiting glow.fm/theterrortalks. Simply go to that link, and your one-time donation will go back into keeping the show running from Michael, Freddie, and Jason for another day. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/theterrortalks. Once there, you can subscribe to one of our 2 tiers, our lowest tier of $1 a month, and our highest tier of $5 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee, and it all goes right back into our show. Anything else we're forgetting?
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this
Oh yeah,
town.
please give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts and let us know that you saw the show. And if there's something you liked or even didn't like, you can also contact us directly at theterrortalks@gmail.com. Well, that does it for this spooky showing. Be safe out there and beware of ghouls, goblins, and monsters. But until next time, happy haunting.